on Groovy Soup. Our next guest joining me today, I got some big time names joining us. Brainpote Productions is on Groovy Soup. Guys, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Paul.
Thanks for having us. This is so exciting.
The intro music here is from the soundtrack of the short film, the indie movie, whatever you want to call it, Twilight Cove, The Madness Inside, a 2020 short indie horror film available on brainpote.com, also Brainpote on YouTube. But guys, I have every show start off by having our artists introduce themselves and telling us a little bit about what they do. So the floor is yours.
You want to go first? Josh, you go first.
I go first?
Yeah.
Beauty before age?
Is
that it? Well, we're cousins. My mom and Will's dad are siblings. So that makes Will the closest thing to a sibling that I have. I'm from Massachusetts. Been making music and videos for a long time. We started getting creative together probably initially through some like pretty silly, sketches that we kind of like just started in your basement, right?
Right. Yeah.
We had the fart.
The fart. Yeah, that was like the first one I can remember.
I think so too.
Like we actually did the video of.
Right.
Well, the first creative thing we did was we had those names we call each other run around the hotel.
Right. We had like a wrestling game and we gave each other names for that.
Right. Made up all these names.
And that's important, actually. The names, we're going to get to the names, but the other voice there, Will, why don't you introduce yourself there?
Right. Cousin Will. I grew up in Colorado. I've known Paul for quite a while. We don't need to get into that, but Josh is my cousin. And, we just grown up best friends, spent a lot of time doing fun stuff together, vacations, and as of recently, been spending a little more time together, but because of recent events in the world, we've just kind of been hunkering down together and making some content and whatnot.
Yeah, we had strangely 2 lucky opportunities during the last year, I would say, to make a ton of content, which we'll get to, obviously. But yeah, thanks again, Paul. This is very awesome.
Hey, we're happy to have you, and I was excited to have you both on because. Yeah, I guess disclaimer for whatever reason there is, Will's my best friend, and I've known Josh for a while too. You guys have said you guys have been doing this for a while. I can remember the Scarred video that you guys made. I mean, that had to have been middle school time, at least for us. I mean, so you guys have been doing this for a while. But Josh, I did want to, and I want to start with just the sheer volume of stuff that's coming from you both. How do you guys manage that? I mean, I've been able to listen to Will's process at least a little bit of when he starts a beat and goes through it, but you both there's a song from one of you or a collaboration of the both of you just about every day, it seems like.
You're not wrong. I think it's really interesting because Will and I work very very cohesively because I'm somebody who moves very quickly and maybe like jumps across the screen and Will says like, hold on, slow down, let's work here first before we move to the end. And I like to just put out whatever I've created, especially on like a SoundCloud situation where I'll make a beat and without even like editing it, proofreading it, arranging it at all, I'll post it and I call it raw because I'm lazy. and then there's Will, who's a little more of attention to detail and likes things to be certain ways, and it's really like a good bond, a helpful kind of contrast.
Right. Yeah, but I wish I was a little faster because
so I think you gotta have a balance, and neither of us are.
Well, that's what helps when we're together. We could do stuff.
Right.
I think that's a really good point because it is from just knowing you both and knowing Will can take a day or two on a beat or we'll get stuck on something, so to speak, and want to work on it a little bit more. But Josh, I feel like that's where you and I kind of relate a little bit more of being the more quick, not as patient. We go.
Right.
But so why release everything though? Is there any reason behind that? Is it just simply like, hey, this is just to show, this is my process. This is to show how I'm growing as an artist. I mean, is there a reason other than it's just like, hey, I put my time into this, might as well see if someone likes it?
I think partially because truthfully, my plays are so hilariously low. like hilarious. Like two. Let's talk about two. Like 2 plays on SoundCloud. So truthfully, the experience of just seeing for myself my content elsewhere in the web that has potential for people to eventually see it, at least, is kind of the exhilarating part. I haven't reached a point in my creative process where I'm getting, a lot of views, and only recently we've turned to other like social media platforms to try and kind of really like truthfully grow this brand. But I think I push things out for self-satisfaction at this time, and hopefully eventually it's part of an archive that is, kind of a deeper cut situation where there's more professional things made in the future, and there's all these things to look back on from when we were more amateur.
Mm-hmm. And Will, you mentioned that you wanted to be faster. Why is that?
I don't know. There's a lot of projects that I get started on and just kind of feel like the work that would need to go into them for them to be up to my expectations would just take days and days. And honestly, like I wish I had the patience to do the days and days process. I know you guys think I'm as patient, but not quite as patient as I wish I was. But just having a finished product is always a nice thing. I feel like everyone can appreciate that. I've never been good at like, especially when it comes to music. Like I feel like most people who dive into like mixing and stuff can agree. Like if you listen to your own stuff, you always find like things that you could have done. So I feel like I should just, need to get better at just calling it.
And
But
I've heard that a lot, actually. I feel, and it's one question that I feel like it's hard to answer as someone who doesn't make music, but it's hard to find that end point, that point where you say, this is it. It very rarely do you get that thing, I feel like, where it nails it exactly what you're looking for. So you're always looking for something. But I think that's, again, where collaboration is key. And you get to bring in another, Josh, or just another set of eyes or another set of ears that can really help you at least like maybe just realize maybe I'm diving too deep, or maybe even something you missed.
Well, we always fight over who has to arrange the beat. It's like, no, you arrange it. You're better. No, you're better. So there is also opportunity, especially like with the score that we created, to kind of alternate per se. Like we're on the same hardware in the same project for all of for everything we've done together, and it's more just like a handoff procedure where I'm like, okay, like you start, I'll come do something, okay, I'll give it back to you, and kind of just bounces around back and forth like that. And then you kind of just like dive into it and you get kind of hooked on something, and you make the Twilight Cove score. And the melody for that was just like a lot of messing around, and eventually I'm sitting over there, Will's on the computer maybe, and I'm like, oh, I like that. And it just evolves from there. And then I'll come in and contribute something else, and we'll bounce off each other. So you're right, it is an important process being together.
Let's dive into just kind of, I think, the differences between what you guys do, the differences being just the scope of what you do. And we're talking to Brainpote Productions here on Groovy Soup. We got Josh and Will from Brainpote Productions. You can check them out at brainpote.com. That's brainpote.com. They're also there on YouTube. I guess we're live streaming on TikTok, I think, for the first time in Groovy Soup history, maybe as well. So that's pretty exciting.
Monumental.
But so you guys score a movie, you guys make movies, or, videos, whatever you want to call it in today's content creation landscape. I mean, Twilight Cove is a movie for what you guys put into it. I mean, for what it's set up to be, but you also create, I don't know, and I hope this isn't in the same vein, but I always think of in like Lonely Island, Little Dicky style rap songs as well. That's kind of where I put it, not in the sense that you guys are trying to like make jokes, but it's upbeat, it's fun, and it's just kind of like, you're gonna hear bars about fantasy football and 32-inch pizza pies. I mean, so how do you approach creating such a wide scope of content? I mean, is it just simply something pops into your guys' head and you just go from there? Because what people need to realize about Brainpote is when you watch a Brainpote video, it is scored by them, it is written by them, it is directed by them, it's shot by them. It's just these two. They do everything from the filming to the editing to the music. So
Mhm.
how do you approach all these projects?
Well, you you have two angles, right? There's one where you want to just make something exist, and then there's also like the quality aspect of things. So oftentimes, I guess, like in my creative ventures, I've been critiqued for maybe rushing through things, or even, as kind of we were mentioning, like spewing things out randomly. I think when we write lyrics for like a song or something, as of now, there isn't too much of a attention towards like, okay, what I'm about to say is going to be impactful and important and interesting, but there is a lot of pizzazz and like opportunity for kind of like breaking down the lyrics and trying to understand what the heck we are actually saying.
Mm-hmm.
For example,
Right.
32-inch piece of pie line that was verbatim from a song we just created has nothing to do with anything. It's simply just a statement. It's like a clause, and it doesn't have any context at all. So
I feel like
there
a
is a
lot
comedic
of,
element.
yeah, a lot of what we make at this point is I think it's just like the enjoyment of just making something
Right,
together.
and hearing your voice.
And yeah, we're just at the point where we're not, I mean, we never really taken things too seriously. Like, and I kind of like the idea that, you know, if we want to do a rap song, then why not just try it out? Or if we
Mhm.
want to, you know, try like a some kind of techno-y song, why not try it out? You know what I mean? So
Mhm. I'll say one more thing. I think that there's a scope, right? So like we're on the scale of, are we being serious? Are we being the Lonely Island silly? Are we trying to like be rappers or lyricists, whatever? But as Will was saying, like just to like create and like express, there's not really an expectation of like what people are gonna think about it. We just
right.
like want to make things because we have the fire.
For me, it's like if people understand and they think it's funny too, then you know that's really exciting, and I hope
Mhm.
that they continue to like watch and listen. But I mean, either way, we're gonna keep, you know, we've been making stuff since we were young, so we're gonna
Right.
keep doing it and just kind of make what we want to make and hope
Mhm.
that our friends and others will like it. But you know, in the end, we're not, you know, we're just expecting to have fun together.
We're promoting fun. I think that's
We're promoting
positivity and
fun. Brainpote
promoting
promotes fun.
promotes
Brainpote
fun.
promotes fun, and I mean that's why not approach it like that. I mean, there's you knowing you both, I know how much fun you guys have doing it, and it shows in your work. But when you in my eyes though, there is a level of seriousness though. I mean, you flew out, Josh, to Chicago, and literally most of the time that was spent was you guys in the lab cooking
Yeah,
up a video. And I
that's
mean, this
true.
turned out to
Yeah.
be like a 2.5 minute video, but it
Yeah.
featured a in-depth beat with like a bunch of vocals that you guys modified, teamed
Mhm.
up with like a whole video that you guys went and shot in different locations.
A
So
cameo by
there's
you.
definitely a level of
That's true.
serious.
You were in
You're
that
in
one,
it.
Paul.
Yeah, you're in
I
that.
was in that. I actually, yeah, I
you're in
did
it.
star
You
in
have a
that.
cameo.
I have a nice brief cameo in that in there.
Yeah.
But you know, so I think there is a level of seriousness, and I think it shows because when you watch and consume your guys' content, it's not just a couple of people just like, oh, we got a MIDI keyboard, let's go out there and do it. I mean,
Right.
for lack of a better term, the beats and the songs, you know, they got some fire in them. I mean, they're definitely dope.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
thanks. I like that surprise element where like maybe the expectation is not to be, you know, a hit single,
so
but when you
I
hear it, you
yeah,
want it to
yeah.
be.
And like as someone who's worked in radio long enough, it's like you hear those characteristics of songs that definitely like hit. And I feel like the right people hear what you guys do. Just like I think a lot of the bands I have on this show, there's people that are like what you do. It's just hard nowadays. I mean, like there's Netflix alone puts out 20 new movies a day. How are you also supposed to compete with the thousands and millions of songs that are
Right.
released every day and videos? It's kind of tough, but um Josh, so I guess do you consider yourself a rapper? Like, do you and Will, do you consider yourself a producer? In the
I mean,
loosest of, and it doesn't, you don't
yeah.
have to, I'm just by terms. Is that something you're striving to be?
I'll go on air saying this. I think I want to be a rapper more than any other like profession.
I've heard that one before.
Yeah, I've said it before, and it sounds silly, but the truth is, there's so much power you have with your words. It's like, and if I could sound good and like appealing to other people, the way I rap is not trying to be mainstream. That's the other thing. Like, we want to kind of exist in our own sphere, not like pop, I guess.
Right.
So I couldn't make pop if I tried. That's the other truth. But am I a rapper? I rap.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
fair? And I think Will, is a producer. I mean, I'll just boast Will for a second. He's been making Ableton beats for like such a short amount of time, and is like stupid amounts of advanced right now. So it's pretty crazy. The development is like weird.
I appreciate that. I don't.
Yeah.
I think I just judge myself too hard, so I just feel like I don't have what it takes at this point to be a producer. But I do like the idea of making music. I think making the scores is kind of what I have the most fun with right now, and I think that's like what I see myself like advancing at better. Like I don't know, the drums. I think it's the drums that slow me down with the beats. It's just I don't have as much, sense of drum rhythms as I wish I did. But, I watch shows like Adventure Time, Steven Universe, and just hear those little songs in the backgrounds in certain scenes. And that kind of what really gets me excited at this point, and just making little scores, little sounds.
How do you approach creating a rap beat versus something you use for a score? Is it a different type of process? Is it?
Yeah, super different.
Such a good question. Yeah, you say, Will.
Well, talking about like us working together, right, is what we're talking about at this point. Because I know Josh and I, we don't live together, is something we should clear up. Unfortunately, we just spend time. But when together, I'd say the rap is. I mean, all of it's back and forth, like Josh mentioned. Rap, like the beats and the scores. I don't know. Josh definitely does the drums, as I mentioned.
But the scores, because you were saying like you don't like the drums, they slow you down. The scores sometimes don't have drums at all. They don't have percussion.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I like the scores a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly.
But when we're making the rap beats, I feel like you still handle most of the drums.
The drums like have to be like the quality standard of like a pop tune. That's the hard part, I think. And they have to also sound like natural. Like it's yeah, it's kind of a mystery still to figure out like how everything sounds so perfect when you hear it professionally mixed and everything. There's also kind of like, I guess, two like contrasting ways of arranging. And when I make a hip hop beat, it's all in loops. And when I make a score, it's totally the opposite. It's like the polar opposite. It's just like flow. You just, and I will, and I'm not proud to mention, but I will mention that I am not classically trained in music. When I'm making a score, and it's just on this laptop. It's not on a keyboard, really. And that's just silly.
No, we use the keyboard for a lot of Twilight.
I don't.
Okay, but I made you.
Well, with the drums, you just play A and T and S, and you're playing the whole kit. But the point is, you have a very like fluid way of making a score versus like a hip hop song where you kind of have to make it sound catchy. And a hip hop song is definitely more like, oh, let's stay in this key, and obviously these sounds will all sound good together, versus like the score. I don't want to say I'm randomly hitting buttons, but there is a lot of experimental stuff going on. It's a lot of L's and D's. And I don't know what notes those are, and it's a shame. I feel like I could have learned the piano if I had. taking the time.
It shows though how much you can do nowadays with music, with the access
right here
tools and like that
box.
laptop.
Right.
And
Right. We're not trying to pretend like we're doing anything super special. It's available to everyone. We're just kind of
yeah, you guys
That's
are
the
have.
beauty is you
you
just
guys
taking
are
what we
using
have and
laptops and
cell phone and your
iPhones. I mean,
laptop.
that's
Yeah,
what you guys
exactly.
do. I mean,
Yeah, and
That's
we're
it.
having fun with it. We're just
You can make you don't need to move from your phone. You film everything and go iMovie. Done. We don't
yeah,
do that.
exactly. I
We're
mean,
the
that's
internet.
important too. I feel like. I mean, when you look at what you guys
yeah,
do,
we don't use iMovie. We want that to be clear.
put that down. GarageBand. I know that's what you guys are big.
Right, we're in GarageBand.
That was the
There you go.
original. So.
I know that's the original. I mean, I feel like where it all began. I remember you
Totally.
making GarageBand beats in sixth grade. I mean,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum,
Crazy.
bum, 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 bum.
Yeah.
I remember
yeah.
like, and your
Catchy
mom
still.
hated the song that you made. You would play it in the car and she hated it. But Brainpote, we're gonna get ready to wrap things up here. 2 more questions for you here. Where's the best place? We mentioned it earlier for people to go. Where's the best place for people to go to keep up to date with all things Brainpote?
Thanks. That's a nice plug opportunity. We have ideally whatever you search Brainpote will go to Brainpote. There's not much else that's close, hopefully. On TikTok, we're Brainpote. On Instagram, we're Brainpote. On YouTube, we're Brainpote.
Productions, I think,
Productions, maybe you're right.
On
You
YouTube.
can still get there with Brainpote. Brainpote at gmail.com.
Brainpote.com.
Yeah,
is very
Brainpote.com's
nice.
got everything. That's the website. So check out Brainpote.com. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I gotta ask though before, and this is the one question I didn't get to, and I briefly teased it, but we'll run a little long. That's okay. We'll make an exception.
Thanks.
The names you guys come up with when people watch a Brainpote video, they will see credits, and that you can't skip the credits of Brainpote videos. That's like a key thing. You need to watch through the credits because of these people you collaborate with. How do you come up with such great names? Where do you come up and meet all these great people?
We have phantom interns.
but seriously though, like how, like I mean, you guys are creating these names like off the dome. I mean, you guys are calling each other a new nickname every time you answer a FaceTime.
Right.
What's the story behind that?
Josh has always been doing it, and just we think it's really funny, and like
You're calling names. Just names.
we just think it's really, I don't know. That's kind of the only thing to say. It just makes
I
us
think
laugh.
it's about expanding the normal.
Like
which
that,
is kind of what Brainpote's about. Is like we don't wanna
people will understand
mainstream.
it eventually, right?
Yeah,
I love it. I think it's
thanks,
great.
Paul.
I think
Thank
it
you.
makes, I think it builds a Brainpote universe. And
Thanks.
you know, because not only do you guys create these names, you also create these characters like Sensei Michael and all sorts of other
Paul.
great
Paul.
characters there as well. But brainpote.com, go check that out. But my final question for you guys here while we wrap up is, the name of the show is Groovy Soup. I ask you both now, what is your favorite type of soup? And let me give a shout out here. Will
Incredible.
is the creator of this segment. He heard me
Wow.
doing the show, said, "Why don't you ask the bands what their favorite type of soup is?" And I've loved it. And I've been doing it at the end of every episode since he told me.
You don't have to. That's flattering. You don't have to say that. Should I answer? Can I not answer because of
You
that?
have to answer. The question still stands. I don't even know the
You
answer
only
to
give
this
the
question.
You don't answer.
Two things that came to mind right away, and that's matzo ball soup. A great. I mean, I kind of have to. It's great.
Yeah.
Or back in the day, Panera bread, like tomato soup, used to be really
Respect.
good.
It's not
Yeah,
good
or their
anymore.
broccoli cheddar. I don't know. I don't eat as much soup as I should, but chili's nice after a nice ski day.
I got mine.
Like a really nice. I don't know. I have a lot of
You guys
answers.
are gonna love mine.
Yeah, Josh,
Wait,
take over.
All right. Yeah, soup is the best.
right.
Soup is-
I was originally gonna say corn chowder, and I'm like, everyone likes corn chowder. So what
no
I'm
one
going
said
with
corn
now-
chowder before. Believe it or not.
Chowder.
Corn
Let's talk
chowder
about-
specifically.
yeah.
People have said chowder, but not corn chowder.
Corn chowder.
Let's talk
is
about
perfect.
chowder for a
Thick
second.
chowder.
Can we talk about soup for a couple minutes, or what?
I wish we had time.
Has anyone said the tortilla lime soup?
Wow,
That's the one.
tortilla soup is nice.
Tortilla
Oh,
soup
you know
is
what?
the one.
No, I changed my answer.
What?
It's that Tom Kung guy or whatever.
Tom Yum
Of
guy.
course.
Tom Yum guy. Oh God, that's
Tom Kung.
100% my answer.
Yeah, of
that
course.
coconut one.
Yep. Great call.
Yep. Okay, we both agree, right?
Yeah, that's fine. We can go
Okay,
with that.
cool.
Tom
We
Kaw
both
guy.
say that. Brainpote has
Tom Kaw guy.
just says that as one entity.
Brainpote has endorsed Tom Yum Guy
That sounds
as the
great.
favorite soup. But Brainpote
Definitely.
Productions, thank you both so much for your time. Be sure to go check out brainpote.com. Again, thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Paul.
you, Paul.